Jon Miller is our White House correspondent at BlazeTV, host of the White House Brief. He has previously worked for Fox News, The Blaze, and Mercury Radio Arts, which is my company. He was actually my assistant for a while, and then a producer on my show. And we welcome to the program Jon Miller. Hello, Jon.
Hey, Glenn. How you doing?
I'm very good. Can you tell people who have not really been paying attention to Virginia exactly what is going on?
Well, what's happening is very simple, and that is that Governor Blackface Northam is literally just trying to deprive, and along with the Virginia legislatures, trying to deprive the people of their Second Amendment rights. And, just to rewind a bit and go back, obviously, because it's at the state level, there's no electoral college. So basically what happened is you got Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia, if you don't know, Virginia is basically Washington, D.C., right?
Yes.
You got Northern Virginia, which is all blue. Because they don't have the Electoral College, Northern Virginia determined the state representatives. So you basically have all Democrats. So Virginia's representation went completely blue. However, the Virginia populace remained sane, remained constitutionalists who just want to have their rights. And so now you've got the situation where the legislators are trying to turn the state blue, and the citizens of Virginia are literally rising up against it because they are trying to implement a number of anti-gun legislation, such as red flag laws and limits on so-called assault rifles, et cetera, basically trying to disarm the citizens of Virginia. And so 90 out of 95, and that number is growing. Just recently I checked this morning, and the Virginia Citizens Defense League is keeping track. But a bunch of localities are jumping on by the day, if not by the hour, rising up against this and declaring themselves sanctuaries against these anti-gun, anti-self-defense legislations. And so on Lobby Day, which is on Martin Luther King Day on Monday, they have decided they had plans to show up at the Capitol in Richmond and make their voices heard. That was the whole point, make their voices heard. Governor Blackface said, no, I don't think so, waited till yesterday to declare a national emergency. And due to that national emergency, everyone who was going to show up to the Capitol now is not able to show up with arms. They're going to have metal detectors, and you will not be allowed on the grounds if you are carrying a firearm in self-defense, which is funny because this happened right after Antifa decided to make their presence be known. Antifa said, oh, well, we're going to show up at the rally. Everyone said, I'm not sure if Antifa is really going to want to show up with tens of thousands, which are the numbers that they're expecting, citizens that are carrying. And so coincidentally, the governor then comes in and says, well, actually, we're not going to allow the citizens to carry at this demonstration. So you've been saying this, Glenn. I really do. I hope not like you, but I do think this is a flashpoint. I do think this is a really big deal because they're saying you cannot exercise your rights. And we know that, and instead of trying to de-escalate the situation, we are putting pressure. We're trying to escalate it. We're trying to make it worse, and we're trying to enrage the citizenry even more.
So here's what's really interesting is you could say, hey, because of Antifa, we're afraid of skirmishes. Police will be out in numbers to make sure that these groups are, separate or whatever. I mean, we've done it before. Jon, you were there when the Black Panthers threatened to walk through the crowd of 500,000 people. Remember that?
Correct.
And it was all taken care of. There's easy ways to take care of it to where you say, look, you have your right. We have our right. You can do this, and it's all fine. Instead, what this governor has done is correct me if I'm wrong, without talking about Antifa, he has instead started talking about white supremacist groups. And foreshadowing the Nazi presence instead of saying, look, there's socialists over here with Antifa who are dedicated to, trouble. And then there is also the Nazis who have a long history, also socialists who have a history of trying to make trouble. We're going to protect the law-abiding citizens who are here to voice a different opinion than mine on the right to bear arms, and they have every right to do that. And if he would have said then, we would ask that you don't bring any guns, I think it still would have bothered a lot of people. It would bother me. but at least it would be understandable and fair. What he's doing is he is making all the law-abiding citizens of Virginia into white supremacists.
I think that's – I mean, sadly, that's exactly right. And I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Absolutely.
But you're absolutely right. And he's just rubbing the salt in the wound. I mean, last night, me and a number of people we're just enraged by this because it's literally, he's just putting his thumb in your eye and saying, I don't care about your rights, and I don't really even care about actually preventing violence. I am so hell-bent on my position and my views on this that I'm going to rub it in your face and I'm going to use my power to do it, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And the question is whether that's actually the case, because what he's doing, literally, of course, it violates the Constitution. That's as clear as day. But it also violates Virginia code. Virginia has Code 44-146-15 that prohibits the governor, in line with the Constitution of Virginia and of the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, from prohibiting the rights of people to keep and bear arms as is guaranteed by the respective constitutions. And I think that he has just made people even more mad. And then what he did is he compared it to Charlottesville. Oh, well, we're getting warnings about behavior similar to what we saw in Charlottesville. Last time I checked, in Charlottesville, nobody was getting shot. Nobody got shot. Somebody got hit, and it was tragic, got killed with a car. So are you banning cars? To just say, well, it looks like Charlottesville, and therefore we are going to prevent the people from carrying, does not seem like it's really going to solve the problem, and instead is just trying to make a political point that is escalating the situation to a point where I really think this could be the beginning of something major. I mean, this is the litmus test for the country in terms of, are we going to stand for our rights or are we not? And he is saying, here's my position. Are you going to challenge me on it? And if you are going to challenge me on it, how far are you willing to go?